everybody, it's Gypsy, and it is Sunday morning, August, I wish, it's September 15th, no I don't wish, I love all the seasons except winter, 2024, and I am driving to the flea market to vend. I gotta tell you guys, I moved from the place I was last vending season. Not the location, but like my booth. I moved off. We have different levels of booths. And oh my God, has it made a difference in the customers noticing what I have to offer? So, that's been great. So anyways, this morning, I have been thinking a lot about, I think my grandmother called it acclimation. My grandmother, my family is originally from Messina, Sicily, on my mom's side. So my great-grandparents, they left Sicily and they went to South America. They settled in Chile. Shortly thereafter, my grandmother and my great-aunt were born in Chile. And then they moved to the United States when my grandmother was a teenager. And my grandma, I remember her reprimanding my great-uncle, her brother, because Uncle Jake, I was a child, which means they had been in America for decades, okay? Because they had come as young people, and now that they were senior citizens. And Uncle Jake, you couldn't understand his English at all. His accent was so thick. He was so Sicilian. I love that guy. But she was Jake, because my grandmother, she barely had an accent left. My daughter-in-law did the same thing. My daughter-in-law used a very thick Finnish accent. It's only very few words that you really have to listen close. My grandmother was the same way with her brother. Oh my God. And I remember her telling him, you came to this country to live, to be a citizen, and so you have to acclimate. People shouldn't have to struggle to understand you. You should have learned English better. You should have done this and that. It was a funny conversation. I was a little girl, but I never forgot it. And, I believe that's true. Now, this does not mean you have to drop your culture from where your family originated from. My grandmother, we're very American, but on the other hand, there are still Sicilian traditions, especially at the holidays, that my sister and I still institute, that we still do. And this is two generations. We're second generation, 100 years later, and my sister and I still do it. Yet we are very American, and I am a patriotic person to our country. Now, the government to our country, there's a difference. My daughter-in-law, the same thing. Just a few years ago, she moved here. She's working on her citizenship. It is very hard to tell that she was not born in America. Of course, she's hanging around with my hillbilly sons. Anyway. But, it got me to thinking, because of all this stuff. All right, I'm in Ohio. This is Ohio, you're seeing. I am 3 hours northeast of Springfield, where, the big to-do is. It just really gets me thinking about what's going on. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Several years ago, and I remember I either saw a video or I read an article, can't remember which one. What I do remember is I was in my travel trailer, which meant I was living on the road at the time, so it was a few years ago. And unfortunately, I cannot remember what natural resource it is that Haiti has that the United States government is very interested in. I cannot remember what it is, but the United States government had already gone into Haiti, and I can't remember exactly what they did or whatever. But I found it very sad, because you should not go in. You'd think they would have learned their lesson, but no. You just can't go in and take things from people. You don't do this wrong. Anyways, so I forgot about it. And then this, all this stuff about Springfield comes. And I was thinking yesterday, I remembered that story. That news article I read or saw. And I thought, oh my God, there's a connection. There has got to be a connection. Well, you have these Haiti immigrants who are looking for, oh Lord, the word is slipping my mind. Refuge. Okay? Well, why are they looking for refuge? I mean, I would think Haiti would be a beautiful place. And, but what's going on? Does the U.S. government have something to do with it based on what I found out a few years ago? That has me, that's how I think. If I remember something I heard in the past, I start thinking like that, and it starts going through my head. So, then this leads me to believe, okay, so these refugees are coming here. Why Springfield, Ohio? Why are all the Haitians there? And then you have, what country? Was it Venezuelan? They're going to Denver. So it seems like they pick a country of refugees and send them to specific cities in the United States. In Springfield, it's barely a city. It's more of a town. I can't say a small town, because the town I live in is small. It's not even close to Springfield. The size. So, okay. These refugees come here. Now, I think they're, one, not being vetted. Okay, so most of these refugees that come here, I will bet most of them are normal, average, everyday good people. They're looking for refuge. But when you're not being careful about who you let in your house, you're running the risk of getting some bad apples. And unfortunately, every group has bad apples. It's very sad, but it's true. So, I felt, oh, come on, little school. Okay. I feel that is happening. Okay. So, it makes me wonder. Okay, we are so focused on what's going on with the geese, the ducks, and cats. Okay. And my question is, I believe it is going on, because that man who got up in front of the city council and talked about it, I did not get the impression he was lying. He witnessed something. But is it as widespread and huge as they're saying? As people are making it out to be, that we need all these memes and everything. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Now, because he did witness this, yes, it needs to be brought to the attention of the city council. But I think it's being used as a distraction, the look over here thing. Oh, this is a funny story. I mean, it's appalling, but funny at the same time. Got some honey from these people yesterday in this house, this farm. Can't wait to try it. Anyways, it has me wondering. So, it's kind of like, all right, I asked my grandparent one time when I was a kid, because, all right, my maiden name is very German. My grandmother, her maiden name was German. She's very German. Her mother's maiden name was German. So on my dad's maternal side, very, very German. My grandpa, German last name, but very, very, very German last name. I asked her, I said, so during, and right after World War II, was there any prejudice towards German Americans? Did our family, anybody in the family, suffer from that prejudice and stuff? Because I did wonder, okay, because we have a habit of lumping everyone, just the prejudice, just one person or a few people do something and then the whole group is bad. Now, what Pat said was that the area of the country, which is in the Allegheny Mountains, which is where my family is, it's where the majority of German settlers settled. So it's mostly German. I think that area's mostly like German and Scottish. So he said, no, not really. He goes, but maybe other areas of the country may have had that where there's less Germans settled. So my point is, I'm kind of taking this story with Springfield with a grain of salt. Because if something obviously did happen or is happening, it did. But when we focus on that, and yeah, I'm not saying we're putting like all of our focus on that. It does need to be dealt with. We're forgetting what the true problem is, the root. It's like, well, it's this immigration thing. Are we being careful? Are we, like the criminals, the crazies? Can we let in the nice young people, the people with families and young people and kids and nice elderly people who need help? Guys, all the squirrels are running out in front of my car today. I don't know what's going on. I always wonder about that. But now, my point is, more importantly than anything, all right, for instance, when I was a teenager, my aunt and I, we did a tour of Europe. In the tour guide with every country, gave us the do's and don'ts of that country. There are certain customs that are acceptable, certain things, sayings, gestures that are acceptable, and others that are not. Please do not do this, and please do that. Likewise, I have a childhood friend who's from Brazil. And I remember when we were kids, she told me, if you're ever in Brazil or you're with Brazilians, never use the okay hand signal. Because in Brazil, that means the same as the middle finger here. Okay? So you have to, if you're going to settle in a country or you're going to visit, you need to be cognizant of these things and respect the culture. Now, if you're settling in that and you're going to live in that, you don't have to give up your customs and your ways, but you do have to acclimate to that country. Okay? You have to respect the country you're settling in, their customs and their ways. And things that are no-nos in that country that was okay in your country, don't, excuse me, so don't do it. So I'm just saying, we need to use some discernment when we hear these stories. Do I believe that happened in Springfield? Yes. I question the scale and how much attention we are putting on that. The mayor of Springfield and the city council need to deal with that, okay? To have the whole country focused on that, when our bigger issue is what do we do about this immigration crisis we are having. Now, obviously, I'm not anti-immigrants. Two people I love in my life are immigrants, my grandmother and my daughter-in-law. I have nothing against immigrants. But let's have respect and do it the right way. Our country needs to go back to being discerning. Well, was this person just let out of prison in their country or an insane asylum and is coming here? What is their background? What's going on with them? I believe my grandmother told me when they came in through Ellis Island, it was not a quick process. It took time. You didn't just get off the ship and go waltzing to Ohio or Milwaukee, which is where my family settled in the Cleveland area and Milwaukee. Okay? You just didn't do that back then. It took time. Well, we need to go back to that. This is America. This is the melting pot. We need to go back to that. So anyways, I guess I'm going to get off my high horse on that. I did also have like this thing about my daughter-in-law. I had this great conversation with my son and daughter-in-law yesterday. My daughter-in-law told me what countries such as Finland, what they think the United States should and should not be doing. I was appalled. I love our parents to death, but it's probably a topic I should not talk to them about. You can never, I don't think you can ever say what another country, their people should and should not be doing, because you don't understand the circumstances. I don't think the rest of the world fully understands what is going on in America today. This is not the America of my childhood or my young adulthood. And it's different. I don't think the rest of the world realizes that. Then anyways, I'm going to stop here. I want to leave you with that. Bless the beat and make it a joyful one.